All right. So in this lecture, we'll be studying operational amplifiers. Okay, it is a special part of your analog electronics theory, and this part is especially interesting the way we solve these circuits. Okay, so before going to the operational amplifiers, let me turn off your mic. Let me give you a brief introduction about amplifiers. Okay, what are the various types of amplifiers? See, we have amplifiers generally of four classes, okay, depending upon number of inputs and number of outputs. Okay, so depending upon number of inputs to an amplifier uh, or number of outputs to an amplifier. Okay, so the classification is based on the number of inputs or number of outputs. Say, for example, we have an amplifier like this. This is my amplifier. Okay. This is my amplifier. If we have an amplifier like this, you have a single output. Okay, you have single output. This is your output. So you are taking output between one line and maybe another is your ground. Okay, then your input is like this. You have two wires coming inside the amplifier. Now you have two inputs. Such amplifier is known as unbalanced amplifier. Okay, unbalanced output amplifier, or we say that it is, see, we have two inputs here. One is V1, another is V2. So these are actually inputs. Both of them are inputs. Since we have two inputs here, okay, so we say the input to the amplifier is balanced. Balanced. Okay, so we have balanced input here. And how many outputs we have? We have only one output. Another output, because we cannot take output from a single line, another you have to by default take from a ground. Okay, so in that case, you have unbalanced output. Okay, so we have balanced input here because there are two different inputs coming to two lines, and you have only one line that is giving you output. Another you take from the ground. Such kind of amplifier would be called as balanced input and unbalanced output amplifier. Unbalanced output amplifier. Okay, so this is balanced input and unbalanced output amplifier example. Now suppose if we have another amplifier like this, you have only one output here. Okay, we have only one output here. So what is the another line that will complete the circuit? It is from the ground. Okay, so this is here output or V output. Okay, so what is the type of output here? It is also unbalanced output. It is also unbalanced output. Okay, and the second thing we have here is we have two lines here for input, but one is grounded. So you are taking one ground and another one, you give it input. We input one. Okay, so in this case, you have one input from the input side, and another terminal is grounded. Okay, another terminal is grounded. Obviously, this input will be also taken like this. If we will extend this input, so you will have V input like this, and you have a second terminal to ground. Okay, so such kind of input, you have only one input from the input side of the amplifier, and you have only one line of output from the output side. Such kind of amplifier would be called as unbalanced output or single-ended output. This is also known as the above one. It is also known as dual-ended. Okay, dual-ended input. Dual-ended input unbalanced output amplifier. Unbalanced output amplifier. Okay, this one. So this is one and the same. But this one would be you have unbalanced or single-ended input. Here, what is the nature here? We have unbalanced or single-ended input. Okay. What is the nature of output? Nature of output is unbalanced. That is also one. Okay. So output is also unbalanced. Balanced would mean two outputs at the same time. Okay. There is no ground taken. There is no ground into the circuit. So you have unbalanced output or you have single-ended output. Single-ended output. So what will be the amplifier now? This amplifier is unbalanced input, unbalanced output amplifier. The above amplifier was balanced input and unbalanced out amplifier. Okay. So this one would be called as unbalanced input and unbalanced output amplifier. Unbalanced input and unbalanced output amplifier. We can have a third class now, wherein maybe the amplifier will look like this. Okay, you can have a third class. Here, the output is taken from two lines. So we have two dedicated lines for the output. And we take always output from here, okay, between these two lines. So output is always taken from two lines. Now see, you have a balanced output here. Okay, two lines are there. It means the output is balanced output, or we also say sometimes them, it is a differential output. Differential output, okay? Differential output. Why do we say differential output? You know that if you have two transmission lines or two potential lines, say for example, you have one line here, you have another line here. If you take output between these two lines, suppose the potential of this line is V1 and potential of this line is V2. And if somebody will ask you what is the potential difference between these two lines, then you will say it is V2 minus V1 or V1 minus V2. Okay. What is V2 minus V1? It is difference of potentials. It is difference of potentials. Okay. Or we say it is a differential output. It is a differential potential. Okay. It is a differential potential. That is why we say here it is balanced output or differential output. Balanced output and differential output. Please remember this thing once for all. We'll be using these terms again and again. Okay. So differential output or balanced output. Now, there could be a case when you have, although this may not be true, but let us assume that we have this case. Okay, we have this case. So you have V in 1 here, input is 1. So what is the nature of input? It
Sir,
is
voice break हो रही है बहुत.
Voice सबको break हो रही है बेटा?
No,
Everybody?
sir.
No, sir.
Okay, this बच्चे को break हो रही है. Please leave the meeting and then join again. Maybe it will improve. Okay. So इस case में we have unbalanced output. Oh, sorry, input. Unbalanced input. Okay. We have unbalanced input, or we can say it is single-ended input. Okay. अब अगर इसका नाम दिया जाएगा, I'll ask my students. They will help me giving the name. I'll ask one by one. Faizan Rashid is here. Faizan Rashid. Faizan Rashid. Okay, Nadia Wani, roll number 70.
Yes, sir.
आप बताइए बेटा इसमें क्या नाम देंगे? What will be the name of this amplifier? Nadia Wani, roll number 70. Next student. If Nadia Wani is not here, I may remove her.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the name of this amplifier? How do we name it then? Alia Zahur, roll number 47.
Yes, sir.
What should be the name of this amplifier?
The unbalanced dual-ended input.
Unbalanced dual-ended amplifier. What can you please repeat it? Unbalanced.
The dual-ended input.
इसमें तो एक ही है, dual ended तो नहीं है, तो input तो single ended है. We have only single ended input.
Yes,
What
sir.
will be the name? What will be the name?
The
Unbalanced.
input.
Unbalanced input and
The balanced output.
very good, and balanced output amplifier. ठीक है, ये बहुत ही आसान है. It is not that much difficult. The fourth case could be जो हमें बहुत बार देखने को मिलता है. Okay, this may not be a real case, but the fourth case is quite real. We mostly observe that. So we may have an amplifier like this, then you have output like this. Okay, so what is the V output? I'll ask students. Tahir 47, which output is this? It is single-ended, unbalanced, or balanced output? Tahir 67.
Sir.
ये कौन सा output है बेटा?
Sir, balanced.
Balanced. Very good. It is balanced output. So you have a balanced output here, or we have a differential output here. Differential output here. Okay. Now the case could be like this also. Instead of one input, you can have V in 1 and V in 2. Okay. So in that case, I'll ask my students, what is the type of input? Maybe Misbah is here. Misbah, roll number 63.
Yes, sir.
What is the type of input, beta?
Sir, it is balanced input
Very
or
good.
dual-ended input.
It is balanced input. It is balanced input, or as she rightly said, dual-ended input. Okay, dual-ended input. And let us name this now. This amplifier would be called as roll number 41 will tell me what is the name of this amplifier now. Roll
So
number
balanced
41.
input and balanced output.
Very good. It is
Yeah,
balanced
dual-ended input and differential output.
Very good. Balanced input and balanced output amplifier. Okay, so this is the type of amplifier. Or we can also say it is dual-ended input and differential output amplifier. Okay, so this was a quite brief introduction about the types of amplifier that we'll be having.
हेलो सर.
Yes.
सर ये वाला दोनों साइड से बैलेंस्ड है ना?
हाँ, ये दोनों साइड से बैलेंस्ड है. It is balanced from both sides. From input side it is balanced, and from
सर
output
इसमें
side.
कुछ स्पेशल है सर? स्पेशल केस?
In what sense you are saying special
सर
होगा?
लाइक इट इज बोथ साइड बैलेंस्ड. बाकी सारे या तो एक साइड से इनपुट साइड से या तो आउटपुट साइड से होता था.
हाँ, इसमें हाँ, that is a good question. What is special about this balanced input and balanced output amplifier? Normal amplifiers are not balanced input, balanced output amplifiers. ये जो balanced input और balanced output amplifiers होते हैं, ये amplifiers composite amplifiers होते हैं. Composite amplifiers का मतलब है they are made up of one or more amplifiers together. Okay, I'll give you an example. Say for example, if you'll ask me what is the example of this unbalanced input and unbalanced output amplifier. Okay, let us take the example of this. So I'll give you the example like this. See, if I have an amplifier, a common emitter amplifier like this. Okay, this is my common emitter amplifier. And we have a VCC here, we have RC here. You know the output is somewhere from here. So this is V output, okay? And you also know that the input is here, somewhere here, okay? Input is here. Suppose I will give, this is common emitter configuration, first of all, okay? It is a common input, common emitter configuration, because you have collector here, you have emitter here, then you have base here. You are taking output from the collector, and emitter is common. Emitter is common. If you will connect input source like this, so emitter will be common. And if you have to take the output, then you have to take between ground and collector terminal. Okay, ground and collector terminal. So I can say it like this also. We can draw it like this. So in this sense, you can see that there is only one input and only one output. Okay, only one input and only one output. Now, if the input to this circuit will be like this, if input will to the circuit will be like this, okay, so you have a positive half first, then you have a negative half first, after that, okay, following the positive half. You know that uh, the phase difference phi between input and output in a common emitter amplifier, it is 180 degree. Okay, it is 180 degree. So what will be the output? Output will be amplified, but you will have negative half first, then you will have positive half first. Okay, so output will be amplified, but negative half first and positive half after that. Okay, why? Because in common emitter amplifier, phase difference between input and output, it is pi. Okay, it is pi. तो अगर आप पहले पॉजिटिव हाफ दोगे तो आपको आउटपुट में नेगेटिव हाफ मिलेगा. We have already discussed it. और if we take a very simple example of it, अगर हम इसको ऐसे भी एनालाइज करेंगे, ठीक है, ये अगर हम if we'll analyze it like this, let us assume that it is working in saturation. Now see, this is RC, this is your V output. Okay, this is your V output and this is your V input, for example. If we apply a very low voltage means, say for example, V input is 0 volts. Okay, when no voltage is applied to the base of this common emitter amplifier, what will be the state of transistor? Transistor will not conduct. Okay, transistor will not conduct. Then the transistor will be open circuit. Transistor will not conduct. When no base current is applied, since IC, it is equal to beta times IB. When IB is 0, what is IC? What is IC? Farik is here. Faizan is here. Faizan Nazir. Faizan Nazir. Roll number 72. Ikra Jan, 62.
Yes, sir.
G, what is IC then?
0.
IC will be 0. Okay. So if IB is 0, then no current will flow here. Okay. There will be no current IC here. IC. Okay. Not here. IC will be 0. If IC will be 0, the transistor will be open circuited. तो जो हमारा अब equivalent circuit बनेगा, that will be like this. Okay, I'll draw it with the help of red color. So it will be like this. So this was collector. Okay, VC या V output. Then our transistor is open circuit now. There is no conduction. IC is not conducting. So this is VCC. So what will be V output then? V output. What is V output then? If transistor is open circuited, I'll ask students what is V output. Maybe Mutib is here. Mutib, roll number 7, will tell me what is V output here. V output. Mutib. Muhammad Mutib.
Yes, sir.
What is V output, beta? If the transistor is open circuited?
So 0.
It is 0. Okay. Manjeet, roll number 18.
Yes, sir.
What is V output?
Sir, 0.
0.
Sir,
Shahid,
conduct नहीं कर रहा है.
roll number 68. What is V output? Shahid Khalid.
Yes, sir.
What is V output?
Sir, 0, sir.
0. Oh, Nargis. Roll number 38. What is V output?
Sir, 0.
0? Oh, that is quite interesting. See, if I have a circuit like this, I have a circuit like this. This is 10 volt here. Okay. Then there is a resistance.
Sir,
So what is
VCC.
what is yes, it is VCC. So it will not be 0. It will be VCC. Why? Because all the voltage that is present here, it will be appearing at V output. So V output will be VCC. Okay. So when V input was 0, what is V output? V output is VCC. So when V input is 0 means it is low. Voltage is very low. It is very low. It is 0 volts. What is the output? Output is very high. How much is it? It is the highest possible voltage. How much will be the highest possible voltage in it? It will be VCC. Okay. So that was one case. So let us now assume another case. Okay. I have same circuit now. So this is V output and this is a transistor and this is V input. Okay. So this is the same circuit. I'm redrawing it. Now V input here, let me draw it with the help of green now. V input is not equal to 0. Say for example, it is equal to 5 volts. Okay, 5 volts, some voltage is there. So IB will not be 0. IB will not be 0. There will be some IB flowing there. Okay. When IB will not be 0, what will be IC? IC will not be equal to 0. Why? Because IC, it is equal to beta times IB. When IB is non-zero, IC will be a bigger quantity. It is a non-zero quantity. That means the current through the collector, it is also flowing. Okay. So when the collector current is flowing, it means the transistor is conducting. When the transistor is conducting, it means that it acts as a short circuit. Okay. So I will draw the equivalent circuit of the transistor now. So it is a short circuit here. This is RC, this is VCC, and this is your V output. Okay. Input यहाँ दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Now, when V input is high, 5 volt, okay, V input is high. It is a high voltage, 5, 10, maybe 4 volts, 2 volts, greater than 0.7, greater than VBE, greater than VBE. VBE से ज़्यादा जब होगी ये. So what will be the V output now? I'll ask students, maybe Shahzeb is here, roll number 33. Shahzeb, what is V output in this case?
Yes, sir.
What is V output?
So maybe VCC.
Okay, VCC. So somebody is saying it is VCC. Okay. So Mubashir is here, roll number 5. Mubashir.
Yes, sir.
What is V output, beta?
VCC plus V in.
Oh. What is the potential here? इस point पे क्या potential है? What is the potential here? इस point पे क्या potential है?
Sir, 0.
It is 0. ये short circuit है, तो इस point पे क्या potential है?
0.
It is 0. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा फिर?
Sir, 0.
It is 0 volt. Okay. So when V input is high, आपकी circuit theory बहुत ही ज़्यादा कमजोर है. It is terrible. You know, I cannot imagine so bad. Anyway, when V input is high, what is V output? It is 0 volt. So V output, it is low. Okay. तो आप ऐसे समझ सकते हैं, this common emitter amplifier, it also acts as an inverter. Okay. Why you are observing this kind of phenomena? Because you know that the phase difference between input and output is 180 degree. जब आप input पे low दे रहे हो तो आपको high मिलेगा. Phase difference 180 would mean entirely opposite. आप पॉजिटिव हाफ दे रहे हो तो आपको नेगेटिव हाफ मिल रहा है. आप नेगेटिव हाफ दे रहे हो तो आपको पॉजिटिव हाफ मिल रहा है. यू आर गिविंग नेगेटिव हाफ, देन यू आर ऑब्टेनिंग ए पॉजिटिव हाफ. आप दे रहे हो हाई तो आपको मिल रहा है लो. आप दे रहे हो लो तो आपको मिल रहा है हाई. So this is how this amplifier will work. ठीक है. तो this is an example of this thing. अब अगर आप कहेंगे अनबैलेंस्ड एंड बैलेंस्ड आउट सॉरी बैलेंस्ड इनपुट एंड बैलेंस्ड आउटपुट एम्पलीफायर की एग्जांपल क्या है? इट इज अ डिफरेंशियल एम्पलीफायर. ठीक है, एक एम्पलीफायर आता है. आई वुड नॉट टीच इट हियर बट आई विल डेफिनेटली ट्राई टू डिस्कस इट इन नेक्स्ट लेक्चर. So the amplifier is a composite amplifier. I'll try to mention it here. See, if an amplifier looks like this, you have one amplifier here, and you know that this is nothing but common emitter amplifier. Okay, this is RC1. Say for example, this is VC1. This is or V output 1, VO1, and this is V input 1, V input 1. ठीक है, और अगर ये होगा ऐसे कनेक्ट किया हुआ, इसको दूसरा एक कॉमन इमिटर एम्पलीफायर यहाँ से डालेंगे लाइक दिस, तो यहाँ पे आपको होगा V input 2, और यहाँ जो आपका आउटपुट मिलेगा वो होगा V output 2, बिकॉज दिस इज ए कलेक्टर आउटपुट, दिस इज ऑल्सो कलेक्टर, एंड यू नो फ्रॉम कलेक्टर वी टेक आउटपुट. ओके, जो आउटपुट ऑफ द एम्पलीफायर है वो कहाँ से लिया जाता है? कलेक्टर से. तो दैट इज वाई मैंने वहाँ पे VO1 कहा एंड VO2. ओके, सो V out 1 and V out 2. ओके, VO2. अब देखिए ऐसे एम्पलीफायर में आपको कुछ और सर्किट एलिमेंट्स करने पड़ेंगे ऐड. सो व्हाट इज हियर, यहाँ पे ऊपर होता है प्लस VCC, और नीचे आप अगर इसको करेंगे RE, दिस मीन्स इट इज कनेक्टेड टू इमिटर रेजिस्टर, तो नीचे अगर आप माइनस VEE करेंगे इंस्टेड ऑफ ग्राउंड, तो दिस एम्पलीफायर इज नोन एज डिफरेंशियल एम्पलीफायर. डिफरेंशियल एम्पलीफायर इसलिए कहा जाता है, इसमें इनपुट्स तो है दो. ओके, these are inputs. So they are two. How many outputs are there? One you have here, another you have here. So there are two outputs. अब देखिए ये जो ये एम्पलीफायर है ये नॉर्मल एम्पलीफायर्स नहीं है. ओके, ये नॉर्मल एम्पलीफायर्स नहीं है, बट दे आर कंपोजिट एम्पलीफायर. They are composite amplifiers. Okay, they are composite amplifiers. They are made up of two or more amplifiers. Such amplifiers are known as composite amplifiers, और इसको differential amplifier भी कहा जाता है, और यही होते हैं dual input dual output amplifiers. अगर आप यहाँ देखोगे what is the output of this amplifier, अगर आप इसका output देखोगे, what is the output of this amplifier? V output, net output will be equal to VO1 minus VO2. Okay, same theory that I said somewhere here कि difference potential होता है या differential output होता है, तभी जाके इनको कहा जाता है differential output amplifiers also. ठीक है, differential output amplifiers. और इनको inputs कितने हैं? इनको inputs दो दिए जाते हैं. Anyway, but this is how these unbalanced input amplifiers look like, and they are very special amplifiers. हमारा जितना भी जो आज के बाद होगा, they will be all based on differential amplifiers. ठीक है, ये differential amplifiers ऐसे amplifiers हैं, या तो ये amplify करते हैं difference of input, और output जो होता है इनका वो भी differential ही होता है. Okay, so with this background we'll now take our discussion to operational amplifiers. Okay, so we were basically trying to discuss operational amplifier. We were trying to discuss operational amplifiers. So we'll discuss now operational amplifiers. Now see, what is an operational amplifier? Operational amplifier, please remember that it is a very special amplifier, and it has a very high voltage gain. It has a very high voltage gain. Why it has high voltage gain? I will tell you, okay, later on. It has a very high voltage gain, and this is also a directly coupled amplifier. I have already discussed capacitive coupled amplifier, transformer coupled amplifier. Once I was discussing those gain versus frequency graphs in front of you. They're giving you an idea about coupling. When one amplifier is connected to another stage, connection is known as coupling. It is connected through a capacitor. Say, for example, you have a stage one, okay? One circuit, it is connected to another circuit, stage two. This is known as direct coupling. If you have a circuit here, then it connected through a capacitor with another stage, it is known as capacitive coupling. Sometimes you can connect two different circuits or two different stages with transformer also. That is known as transformer coupling. You should remember that operational amplifiers, they are directly coupled amplifiers. The stages that are inside it, they are directly coupled. Okay, I'll draw the internal structure also, but uh, before that, I'll give you some other idea. Okay, this amplifier is very special. Okay, this amplifier is very special. It can be used. This amplifier is very special and it can be used to perform mathematical operations. Mathematical operations on analog signals. On analog signals. Okay, hence named as operational amplifier. Operational amplifier. Now see, this amplifier is very special. It is so attractive and beautiful that it can even perform addition, it can perform subtraction, it can perform division also, it can perform integration also, it can perform differentiation also, it can even perform log operations, it can even perform ln operations, anti-log operations, whatever comes in your mind. All those mathematical operations that comes in your mind, this is very easy for this amplifier. It can tackle them very easily. Therefore, this is a very attractive amplifier and it is hence known as operational amplifier. Okay, operational amplifier. क्योंकि ये amplifier mathematical operations को बहुत ही आराम से करता है. There is no problem for it. Even it can find the difference of two analog signals. You know, dealing with digital signals may be very easy, but analog signals are very difficult. Okay, because they are raw signals. But it is not a big deal for this amplifier. Okay. So this amplifier, it generally comes in the form of digital ICs. ये amplifier जो होता है, ये आता है 8-pin digital ICs में, 8-pin digital ICs. So the IC is like this. It comes in the form of integrated circuits. So it is an 8-pin IC amplifier. इसमें 8 pins होती हैं. So it is available in the market, quite popular one. So you have pin number 1 and pin number 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is the shape of this amplifier. ये आता है in the form of 8-pin DIP ICs. 8-pin dual inline package. Dual inline package. Okay. So it comes in the form of 8-pin dual inline package ICs. Okay. So what is inside this IC? What is the internal structure of this amplifier? Internal structure. It basically consists of 4 different stages. Okay, 4 different stages. I'll draw them very quickly. Our time is running out. We may restart our meeting if we cannot complete it. Now see, the first stage is always balanced input, balanced output stage. Okay, first stage is known as input stage. It is balanced input, balanced output stage. The second stage is known as intermediate stage. Intermediate stage. It is balanced input, unbalanced output stage. The third stage is known as level shifter stage. Okay, level shifter stage, which is nothing but a unity gain stage. Okay, essentially it is unity gain stage. The third stage, it is known as output stage of this amplifier. ये सारा एक ही package में होता है. So this is balanced input, balanced output stage. Okay. This is unbalanced output stage, unbalanced output stage. This one is unity gain stage, unity
Sir, screen
gain.
visible नहीं है.
Everybody is facing same problem.
No, sir.
No.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, जिसको
No, sir.
नहीं दिख रही है वो लॉग आउट करेगा and then he will join again. Okay.
ये छोटा दिख रहा है.
So okay, so first stage is input stage. It is balanced input, balanced output stage. The second stage is intermediate stage. Okay, intermediate stage is unbalanced output stage, and it is balanced input stage. The third stage is level shifter stage. I'll give you the function of all these stages. And the last stage is power amplifier. You know what is a power amplifier, okay? So it is a power amplifier. So generally it is the class B push-pull amplifier. ये class B से आता है, complementary symmetry push-pull amplifier, but it's not necessary. कुछ और भी हो सकता है. Darlington pair amplifier भी हो सकता है, okay? I'll stop here and then I'll continue it in my next lecture. So there are two inputs to this amplifier, V in 1 and V in 2. Okay, कोई सवाल है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं. Otherwise, I'll
Please repeat कीजिए.
okay, I'll repeat it. No problem. I'll repeat it. So let me initiate the meeting once again. Okay, तो ये meeting दोबारा फिर initiate करनी पड़ेगी. So I'll request everybody to join again.